And welcome back to Bookstage and Screen. We have the wonderful Jess Pearce from Running Panda Films. I'm not actually sure where she's calling us in from. Where are you calling us in from, Jess?
Hi, how are you going? Good. I'm just at the Pioneers Cottages Grampians.
Oh, lovely. Be a nice day today. Maybe not so much yesterday, but today it would be.
Yeah, we're very grateful that the winds died down. It was quite interesting yesterday.
And what are you working on there?
We're just shooting a short film called Baron. It's a co-production we've done with Monster and Bear, who are based in Melbourne as well.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful short film about a mother who deals with the loss of her son and goes on a journey to kind of contemplate and have that grieving process.
Okay. And so do you do quite a few co-productions? Is that something you do?
Yes, we do. We do a lot of co-productions at Running Panda. We, as a company, really enjoy working with other creatives, and I think especially with the film industry at the moment, it's always good to have as many hands on deck as possible.
So you've teamed up with Monster and Bear. Is that who you teamed up with? Who
yeah, Monster and Bear. We've worked with them before. They were co-producers on our web series called Waiting on Sound.
Oh, which I loved. I loved that. The guy who played the sound guy was hilarious.
Oh, Ben McNamara, he's fantastic. He's perfect for the role. He took it to a whole nother level.
And that's going around the world now. You've been in quite a few, or it's at least one that I know of, festival.
Yeah, it has done quite well. It's we were distributed on Virgin Australia in-flight as well.
Yeah.
And we were officially selected for Toronto Webfest and just recently Raindance Webfest over in London.
So does that mean a little trip OS for you?
Oh, unfortunately, I couldn't get away from that one.
Oh, dang.
But our director, Sam, managed to swoop in and spread the good news.
Beautiful. Well, you do have a feature film coming up. That's correct? Yep.
Yes, we do. Well, The Legend of Ben Hall is coming out in cinemas towards the end of the year. As well, but we do have feature films in development as well. The Bubblegum detective story is the most recent one.
Okay.
So that's another one that we're looking at filming around the Castlemaine-Malden area. So can't help myself. I love getting out into regional Victoria.
Are you a country girl or are you a city girl that wants the country?
I was originally from Brisbane, actually, so I suppose some people might think that's country.
You know what Melbourne are like. We're very clicky down here. So how do you find your projects?
Well, we've gotten to a point now where a lot of people approach us with projects.
Yeah.
And we've, just been really fortunate and people bring us really, really great projects. We're now getting to a stage where we're wanting to start to develop some of our own content. Mm-hmm. As well, so...
Are you a writer or...?
A burgeoning writer, I would say. I don't know if I'd call myself a writer yet.
But tell us about then the Legend of Ben Hall, how that came about, because that's got quite a good story.
Yeah, so The Legend of Ben Hall, I was producing a film with the director of Waiting on Sound, actually, and he had made contact with Matthew Holmes, the Ben Hall director, and he had been looking for producer help. So Matt and I met, and this is very early stages. This is over 2 years ago. And Matt had the script, and he was wanting to make a short film, and he was in the middle of crowdfunding. So we started working together on getting the short film happening, which we shot in Victoria and up in New South Wales. Mm-hmm. And then we had this beautiful short film that we kind of took a bit of a jump and said, you know what, I think we should make the feature and we should try. And we kind of put the feelers out and we had such a great response. Like we already had some relationships with the sales agent and producers, so we reached out to them and they loved it. They just really loved the film, and the whole experience from that point of crowdfunding to the social media now and the film coming out, it's just the people that have come behind the film says so much for it. So it's really nice to see.
And so there was a crowdfunding element to get it up, because we have a few people contact the show about crowdfunding, and you've done a successful thing. What were some of the things you can just sort of share about crowdfunding to get it up?
Well, for people's reference, Running Panda does actually have a podcast in which we recently did an event called Crowdfunding to Feature, which Matthew Holmes, the director of Ben Hall, talked about his process and what he learnt and the do's and don'ts of what he believes to be a successful campaign. So that's something that people might find helpful. But I could say that it's a personality as well and a passion. There's a certain passion that Matt Holmes has for the project that came through on the crowdfunding campaign. And definitely making the film look how you want it to look at the end is doing a crowdfunding campaign. You really want to make things look as polished as possible from the beginning because you're asking people for money. So they need to know they can trust you with that money and that right from the get-go you're going to deliver a high-quality product. So.
And for a very, you've only really been producing as Running Panda for 2 years. So I find it remarkable and fantastic that you've got all these projects up and running and even more. But also I love the fact that you have these workshops, which, for people wanting to learn more, you can go along. There's one coming up with, is it branding and...
You and Your Brand.
Yes.
Yeah, with Bronnie Lane, who's... PR public relations specialist with 10 years experience, and it's going to be a great event to talk about how to market yourself and find your brand, because as a freelancer and as a filmmaker it's very important to know how to market yourself in the industry. So, and that's also combined with producing outside the box with Maggie Miles.
Yep.
Which again is a Q&A, very interactive event that we're holding off the back of the other one, which will be talking about the different models and how producing's changing and the things that Maggie's found in her experience that could be helpful.
Yeah, it sounds like a great night.
Yeah, no, it's really important. It's something that, the more we talked about wanting to build up these sort of events was a platform to talk about just the way that the industry's changing and the different ways that you can market yourself and be involved and all the different techniques in a bit more of an informal surroundings than, say, a traditional conference or something.
Mm-hmm. And if people basically like pandas and they like you and they've got a good idea, how do they approach you to say,
They like pandas.
Well, they may have been Googling pandas and gone, ooh, look, running pandas. What's going on?
Well, I'm always happy to talk about pandas.
We should ask you about that. Why did you call it Running Panda?
Oh, well, look, it's a bit of a funny story. There's coming up with a business name is always quite interesting, but really, it has two meanings for me. Is that I was in a short film when I was quite a lot younger for a family member, and I just had to play some young girl in a scene. And because of continuity, they'd had me in one scene without shoes on, and then I had to run through a backyard with no shoes on, and it was stony. And for some, I won't go into the reasons, but I was wearing a panda suit. And I remembered that experience when I was thinking about film and, what drew me back to it. And it can be so painful and so grueling that it was so much fun. Yeah, but it's also a methodology for us. The more we talked about it was, running pandas, you don't think of them as running. And, we move fast. We think outside the box. We like to, really keep the momentum of what we're doing. So.
And they're endangered. They're an endangered species.
I think they've just come off endangered, actually.
Well
there you
well
go,
done.
Gordon. Keep up with your panda news.
They're vulnerable. Obviously, the breeding program's working, so that's another correlation.
And that's why we've got you on today to talk about that.
I might have to bow out of my breeding
knowledge. Fair enough. And so if someone's thinking of going into producing, what would you give as like maybe a top hint to get started? Or
make stuff,
yep.
It's so simple, but when you get starting, like, of course you can volunteer and reach out to people, not even looking for work, but reach out to someone more experienced than yourself and say, do you have time to grab a coffee? I just kind of love to have a chat about producing.
Yes.
Or, you know, and I wouldn't recommend asking for a job straight away. They probably get that a lot. But it's just good to have that opportunity to kind of pick someone's brain. But in the end, it's just make stuff.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's something not great, you shoot with your friends in a day, it's a learning experience and you'll just learn every time.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to Legend of Ben Hall. That sounds great. Actually, we might try and get one of maybe the director or someone in to have a chat before. It's coming out in December, is that right?
Yeah, that's the one, December 1st.
Wonderful. They're on my hit list, so I'll be contacting them soon.
Yeah, you're our in. So basically we need, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to have a coffee with you so that I can have a coffee with them so we can get them on the show.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Well, we're still filming Baron for a few more days, and then over the next few weeks we'll be down in actually Werribee and Wyndham Vale area shooting there for one day.
Wonderful.
Oh, really? Well, you should give us a heads up because we're in Werribee.
We can tell you where we can send the troops down. No, I'm joking. That's the last thing you want. We can tell you where to get a good coffee, maybe.
Yeah,
That's probably the thing.
Sounds good.
Wonderful.
You can check it out at Baron Film Official on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll let you get back to it, into the good weather, and thanks for joining us and telling us all about the wonderful things going on at Running Panda.
Not a problem. Sorry I couldn't help with the breeding pandas.
We'll look into it. We'll be back next time.
Thanks, Jess.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Bye.